Right, here we go. Hello, guys, and welcome to today's webinar. I'm joined with two very special guests, Mr. Mangan, Mr. McLennan, who I've had the pleasure of coaching both of these beautiful gentlemen before. And we're going to talk today about escaping FOMO and how you can definitely have a combination of two things in life, but how sometimes you just have to go all in with the goal that you want, and how you kind of can get stuck in this very vicious cycle of going out regressing, not making progress, and then just getting stuck in a very slippery slope. So I'm going to let these boys introduce themselves first. Alistair. Oh, you're on mute, mate, I think. Can you speak, Kyle?
Hello.
Yeah,
How you
you
doing, boys?
go on, you go first, Kyle, then.
No worries. We'll wait for Alistair. So yeah, my name's Kyle. I had the pleasure of doing some coaching with Kieran, transform my physique, transform my life. And I think, to be honest with you, boys, this is a very, very important topic that a lot of us, especially us men, we need to understand on a deeper level. And what Kieran's going to do today, he's going to dive deep on why it's important. And I think what you want to do is turn your phones off. Let's have your full attention and let's listen because there's going to be a ton of value. And most importantly, you're going to come away with a framework and some insight of what it's like to actually get a fucking quality result. So phones down, on silent, like I just did, and let's get to it.
Alistair, have we got you? Oh, no.
Should we keep it flowing?
Keep it flowing. Anyway,
Flowing.
a lot of people are probably seeing this and they're probably thinking, it's all well good, you lads, look at you're all in shape, you're all jacked. It's easy for you to say that, you can't get stuck in that cycle, but we've all been there ourselves, we're young lads ourselves. We've been through that process of going out on the weekends, drinking a lot, doing this, that, and the other. And we can resonate. And this is why we're making this webinar today, because I think a lot of people can see people on Instagram, but oh yeah, it's fine for you to say that. You've got all this, you've got the muscles, you've got the abs, you've got the business. But at the end of the day, we have walked that walk as well, and we've come out the other side and completely kind of transformed and transitioned our lifestyles, haven't we? So what we're going to talk about first is obviously the difficult choice about enjoying life and the progress as well. So it's not always about this or that. You can definitely have both, but the reason, like Kyle said, why we're here today is we have a goal. If you're on this, there we go. I think we can hear you now, mate.
Yes, good man, good man.
Introduce yourself quickly, mate.
Yeah, mate. So my name's Alistair. AJM Coaching is the brand. I've experienced a lot of obviously what we're going to talk about today, but I've come through the other side and I know the absolute fulfillment that you get from not only getting past that, but then being in a place where you can find that balance later down the line, but you need to earn the right to do that.
Exactly, mate. Very well put. So a lot of people on watching this today will have a goal at mind, and I think you're always looking to try and find some form of balance. And I think the truth to be told, lads, is there is no such thing as balance when you have a goal. You do have to go semi all in with that one goal. And once you reach that goal, you can have a bit more flexibility, you can have a bit more freedom. But a lot of people want the best of both worlds. They want that balance from the off, and you have to earn the right to get it. And essentially, if you put the work in first, you create so much more freedom and flexibility for yourself later down the line, but not just in your physique, in your life, like the habits and the discipline that you learn throughout, like a photo shoot prep, for example. I'm sure you can both relate that it builds character, it builds a man, it builds routine, it builds structure, and that transition not just into your physique, but you both got very reputable businesses. You coach multiple men yourself, and it's so much more than just a physique at the end of the day, isn't it? So these sacrifices often come in the form of skipping, social events and ignoring pressure. But this is for anyone that's feeling like torn between whether they want to keep going out and getting that, 10, 15-minute dopamine spike at the start of the night to then feel sorry for themselves over the weekend. And I think many people around the world are in the same boat. And this is why we're here today to kind of talk a little bit more about this. So what is FOMO? Obviously, it's the pressure sometimes that you feel from maybe friends and peers and old groups that you might have been in who are still living that life that you are trying to move away from slowly. I think you've both been there as well, lads, haven't you? Where you've I'm not saying that they're still not you. I'm still friends with all my friends that go out regularly, but it's just learning how to kind of slowly distance yourself from them when you've got a goal in mind. So do you want to talk about kind of how you've both, Kyle, you want to go first, mate, how you maybe had a group of friends who were maybe slightly the wrong crowd to be in at the time?
Yeah, I'm gonna put it on pretty thick. I'm not gonna mess around with it. I'm gonna tell you the truth that I live by and exactly how it changed my life. So I was a dedicated rugby player for 7 years. I was gonna almost turn in professional, all right? And everything I did was live, breathe, train rugby league. I fucking loved it. From the moment I woke up to the moment I went to bed, I was obsessed with rugby league. Now, things happened in between that, and it ended up turning out that rugby league wasn't my path, and I lost my identity. I didn't know where to go in life. I didn't have any other path in mind. The only thing I wanted to do would be a professional rugby league player. That didn't work out the way I wanted it to. So I ended up numbing my pain with alcohol and drugs. Now, the reason I was doing that is because truthfully, I was hurt inside and I was lost. Now, I know for many of you it isn't as deep as that and it isn't like that, but I know there may be one or two of you that might feel like that. So if you do, then just listen to me. So then I started hanging around with a group of friends who I thought at the time were my friends, but all it really was were a group of people who wanted to smoke weed, drink alcohol, and not really progress in life, which is fine. But when you keep that type of company around, it doesn't really allow you to elevate to the goals that you want to get to. Now, obviously, you're watching this webinar that tells me you've seen Kieran, you know what it's about, and you've got a goal in mind. And there's going to be a point in life where you need to sit down and evaluate, do I want to wake up feeling like a little bitch in the morning, or is this goal more important to me? Yes, balance is okay, but when you are actually trying to take your physique to the next level, when you are actually trying to get somewhere, it's gonna require some form of discipline and sacrifice for you to get to that next level. So the fear of missing out for me is an illusion, because when you wake up with regret, with pain in your heart, knowing that you shouldn't have done it, you need to listen to that. That is an inner calling from your soul that you are not on the right path and you need to pivot quick. And if you carry on not listening to that calling, all right, all you're doing is stripping away that self-respect that you have. So when you look in the mirror in the morning after, you want to look at yourself and say, was it worth it? No, it wasn't. Let's not do it again. It's simple as that. There's no in-betweens. There's no like people trying to add all these complexities. It's either you're in or you're out on the goal. If you don't want to do it, don't do it. If you do want to do it, crack on and get to it. It's as simple as that. If you know Tom, Dick, and Harry down at pub aren't serving your needs, aren't fulfilling you, don't make you feel good and truthfully, then stop fucking hanging around with them. It's as simple as that. Make sure that you distance yourself. Be around people you want to be around. And if you're not willing to do that, be prepared to carry on waking up every single weekend or every other week or whenever you're doing it, not feeling your best. So that's what I will say with that.
Fantastic. And Alistair, what would you say to like feeling judged by, your friends saying, "Oh, come out, mate, come on, you don't need to go to the gym, you can miss this meal," whatever it is. What would you kind of say to someone who's in a position that's like that, who's being maybe led astray from what they actually
Yeah.
want?
Well, first things first, you should have select friends that are supportive of your goals. And if they are your true friend, you should be honest and open with them about what you're doing, and they will understand that completely. Now, for me personally, I can look around at my friendship group, but at the time, it was me that wanted to do those things because I had what they call an addictive personality. But when I started channeling that in the right way, what was once a curse actually became a blessing to me. And it means that when you do go all in and channel that addictive personality in the right way, you're going to be more committed than your average person at what you're doing. And then when you go all in, do what you got to do, you can then earn the right to potentially have that little bit more balance. But it comes when you've earned that right, you've done it, you've committed to it. And then when you've got a life that you love outside of that one night out, it means that you can enjoy the night out, not go too far, and then get back to normal on the Monday. And that's the balance you're looking for, but you've got to earn that right.
So very well said, mate. So what is it you're actually missing out on? Like, I think a lot of people think, oh, they're gonna make all these special memories and it's gonna be fantastic. And oh, if I don't go, this might happen. If I don't go, that might happen. But essentially, at the end of the day, what you are missing out on is a very temporary dopamine hit. Regret, probably, like you said, Kyle, the morning after, looking at yourself in the mirror and thinking, fuck's sake, I've done it again. Hangovers, poor sleep, and when you are working towards a physique goal, especially, you can see the detriment that it has on things like your hormones, your recovery, your sleep. You miss out on REM sleep. Like there's a multitude of factors as to why drinking, drugs, late nights, even if you just go out and have a later night, like that in itself is going to set you up for a poor night's sleep and a shit recovery the next day. So there's a lot more to it than, you're not missing out on memories. And what I always say to my clients and friends and family as well, like them nights out, them pubs, them venues, whatever it is you go to, they're all still going to be there in a year, 2 years, 10 years, probably still going to be there. The only thing you're missing out on is all of this, and I think at the end of the day, if you do have a fitness goal, a physique goal, whatever it is, even a business goal, these nights out, the ones that you're getting dragged into week and week, week after week, this is what's holding you back in life. And I think, like I said, you're not missing out on much, are you, lads? It's
Not at all. And just to add to that, like it's funny because I just did 11-week photo shoot prep, locked in, didn't miss a beat, felt amazing, achieved the goal. And then on a little bit of downtime, I went out in Leeds for a few drinks with my friends and stuff. And it was nice, but it was exactly the same as it was years ago when I last went out. Nothing had changed. It was the same banter, same people, the same energy, which is fine. But it just kind of solidified that point that what you're doing is not going to change. It's going to be the same. It's going to be there when you've achieved your goal.
exactly that. I mean, like it says here, you're not missing out. You're gaining clarity, you're gaining strength, you're gaining life, aren't you?
Can I add to that? So my philosophy is don't look for happiness in the same place that you continuously lose it. Now, what Alistair said is like you can go out and balance. Same with Kieran. But if you know deep in your soul, right, that you're going out there and you wake up and you don't feel happy, you don't feel fulfilled the day after, right, you need to stop looking for that happiness there because you're going to find it, like Alistair said, in the fulfillment of sticking to your goal. Right, Kieran's just done like a 24-week prep for this bodybuilding show, relentless with it because it means something to him. And most importantly, he loves doing it. So my best advice for this, and Alice touched it, find what you love to do in life deeply, write out what do I love to do in my days, what do I love to do in my months, and what do I love, essentially what I'd like to do in my life, and write it down and get clear and specific because the more clear you get, lads, on what it is you truly love to do with yourself, the more you're going to be swayed to do them actions that are going to get to your goal. So yeah, I mean, at the end of it all, like I said, like hangovers, poor sleep, disrupted progress. I'm assuming the majority of the lads on here are all men, right? We all go out. If you haven't got a girlfriend, you always search for a girlfriend. It's normal, all right? You're chasing that social connection. I understand it's normal, but if you are waking up, lads, and you feel poisoned, you don't feel good about yourself, you feel like shit. I'd highly recommend you look at like reassessing what it is you need to be doing with yourself on a day-to-day basis and use them weekends to make power moves. So when it comes to Sunday, you wake up and you're truly proud of the man in the mirror.
Nice. Very good.
100%.
So there's always two choices, isn't there? Your future self is always going to either choose the nights out, the inconsistency, the stagnation in life, the regret, or you can flip it on its head. You can see it as, what, I've built more muscle this week. I've been mentally stronger this week. I've gained more respect for myself this week. There's always two paths in life, isn't there? And I think, one's obviously going to lead you astray down a slippery road, which is just going to be full of all them things I've just highlighted. The other one's only going to build on top of that. And I think something that I also wanted to mention, like this call isn't today to say, don't go out, don't enjoy yourself. Like Alistair, you went out after 11 weeks. I'm sure it still felt good. I love going out still. I love a drink. I say this all the time. I love actually getting drunk. It's good to have that kind of time where you can switch off from busy things like work and, get a little bit more loose with things that you're saying. And, I enjoy that aspect of it. But I know for a fact that that's still going to be there after the 25 weeks and it's still going to feel good. And I'll probably still feel shit the next morning. But you need to kind of commit to a goal, earn the right, like we've said already, and maybe have that bit of enjoyment. And I think it works in two ways as well, because it makes you realize, fuck, I do actually love that routine. That hangover, that drink wasn't worth it. I'll maybe do it again in another few months. But this is why, the wrong crowd, and I think we're all in a position where we've got good mates. They're not the wrong crowd by any means for us, but some people watching this will be genuinely within the wrong crowd. And I think if you're the most kind of driven person in your group, and that old saying that I always remember Mark Cole saying when we went on the mentorship years ago, Kyle, that if you're the, what was it, biggest, smallest fish in the pond, you're in the wrong pond or something. Stuck with me ever
100%.
since. And like, real friend and real, support networks, they won't mock you for your discipline. I think it's very important to let people know early on. Like I've told my family, told my friends, told obviously clients that, I'm doing this photo shoot prep. Yeah, photo shoot prep, bodybuilding prep. I'm going to be locked in for half the year. Okay, just leave me to it. If they think you don't, oh, you shouldn't do that, you don't need that. Probably the wrong people to be kind of surrounding yourself with. And I think that's a harsh one that a lot of people will need to hear. But if you are someone in your group who's maybe doing more than what the others are, and the other people are just 9 to 5 workers, they get to Friday, they spend all the money on the booze, go to the pub, same conversations in the kitchen at 4 in the morning. Hate to break it to you, but it's probably the wrong crowd, and they're the people that are going to hold you back.
And they're probably actually threatened by the level of success that you could actually reach. And
Yeah.
that's what it is. You behaving like that just normalizes and justifies their own bullshit behavior. And but that's the thing. It's about if you are the person within the group that is the instigator of that sort of thing, it's about building a life for yourself outside of that night out that is so much better than that one night out. So you don't place all your happiness on the night out because you've got a life that fulfills you outside of that night.
Oh, I couldn't agree more with that. Can you just go back one slide, Kieran? Right, lads. So look at this, yeah. So you've got one outcome in mind. Whatever that outcome is, I want to have the best physique I've ever had. I want to be, have the most muscle I've ever had, or, I want to be the most lean. You will never be able to walk two paths and expect one outcome. Do you understand? I'm going to keep it simple. You will never, ever in life be able to walk down two paths and expect the one outcome. But people try and walk down two paths and it just can't happen. Pick the path that you want to go down and stick to it. Because if you don't, you end up with the inconsistency, the stagnation, the regrets. It's going to throw you off. And there's not wrong with making mistakes. But if you know it's bad for you, stick to the path that you know that works. Be relentless with it. Be like Kieran. Be like Alistair. And you'll have the results, boys. And it's not only about the physical result. It's about, like I said, about 5 minutes ago. It's about the self-respect that you can look in the mirror and be like, I did myself proud today, genuinely. That is more fulfilling than goal itself or the analogy I'm trying to give. It's more fulfilling doing that than it is for that one night of dopamine or one night of bullshit that you can do 10 months down the line, 12, whatever it is of the goal.
Yeah, exactly. I always refer back to uni for 3 years. I wanted 3, 4 nights out a week, and I also wanted a good rig, and I just didn't get a good rig for 3 years. Like, you can't
Is
win
it?
that. Unfortunately, you can't. I'm sure people wish they could, and they try and kid themselves into thinking, yeah, I can. If I train 7 days, I used to train 7 days a week, and then go out 4 nights a week to try and outdo the 4 nights a week. Yeah, glad we've learned since then.
Because it's simple as the quality of your training is just never ever going to be on the levels it needs to be to progress when you feel like that.
And
Couldn't
again,
agree
like,
more.
if your friends are just saying you're just that guy that just lifts weights, like, oh, you got nothing going, like it's not a case of that. Lifting weights is just a very small portion of what it does for you mentally, physically, spiritually, every kind of emotional kind of attachment that can possibly come from it. You're becoming confident, you're becoming disciplined, reliable. Reliable is a big one. Like you want to be known as a reliable person. Like I've still got friends that are just a bit flaky. You can never really rely on them because they don't know if they're going to text you back, don't know if they're going to show up. One of the biggest things I'd hate to be in life is unreliable. I think reliable is a big one for me, but again, goal orientated. Say you're going to do so. I said I was going to do this competition, these 3 competitions last summer. Guess what? I'm doing them. Purpose driven, like have reason to do what you're doing. Like don't just say I want to lose a bit of weight. Set a fucking big goal. Scare yourself. Photo shoots. Neither of you lads probably wanted to do a photo shoot before I maybe push you slightly towards it. And you do it with your clients as well. Do a photo shoot. They're like, no, but they do it and they feel fucking accomplished. So it makes you mentally stronger as well. And you change your whole identity as well. People start respecting you more. People start inquiring more. They want to work with you. They want to hang out with you more. They want to know how you've done it. So you're not just the guy who lifts weights, which I think a lot of people think it is.
100%. And the confidence that it builds, like those staying true to your words, showing up for yourself, builds that level of confidence. And now, since doing these photo shoot preps, like the way that I hold myself in day to day life is so much better than what it was before because I'm constantly living aligned with my values, with my purpose, with my passion, with my mission. And then, even when you do step back into the bar and have a drink, you're holding yourself in such a different manner. Like I used to feel the need to go overboard, have too many drinks, be a bit of a clown. Whereas now, I just hold myself in such a different way and I don't feel the need to behave like that because, like I say, I'm going back on the Monday to a life that I love and enjoy.
And I think that's really what it all ultimately comes down to is the purpose. Every man on the planet is it has a mission, whether you know it or not. You have a purpose and a mission, and you might have jumped on a training program to get better, but it runs a whole lot deeper than that. And I think a lot of men have never really sat down for 5, 10, or 20 minutes, or even an hour in solitude, without the phones, with a pen and paper, and really worked out what the fuck you want from life. And if building your physique and building your body and your mind through caring is the first step, then stick to it. Be a man of your word. You got on a call for a reason because you saw what Kieran had and you've seen it and admired it, and there's a part of you that wants that. So, and if you are finding that, you may lack a little bit of purpose out, go deeper on yourself. There's nothing wrong with going deeper on yourself because you have an inspired mission in your soul to fulfill. And if it is getting your body and mind right, getting off the drugs and alcohol, then be relentless in doing so because it'll be the most fulfilling thing that you've ever done in your life. And it's not about the drinking alcohol, it's about you having self-respect and sticking to your goals, whether it's 12, 40 weeks, 60, it doesn't really matter. It's the fact that you're being the man that you know you can be, and you're being true to your word and true to yourself.
100%. I think one of the best things about a physique as well, like I'm looking at this picture of you here, Kyle. I respect that. Like I know you can't buy that. You can't just get it instantly at a click of a fingers. That's taking time, that's taking effort, that's taking consistency. Anyone who's in good shape, I respect because you know you can't just buy that shit. You might have the odd genetic freak who's gifted, but you still have to put the work in to get to a certain standard of photo shoot condition or stage condition. So you gain so much respect from a lot of people like ourselves who know what work has to go into it. So I think that's one of the biggest things as well. So I think what we need to try and get out of this call as well today is replacing that Friday night, that Saturday, that Sunday morning of regret and just drinking yourself into a pitiful sorrow. Like set new goals, set things that give you more fulfillment. Like for me personally, I love getting up first thing in the morning, like early. I love going for a walk straight away. Podcast, that makes me happy. That fulfills me. If I don't do that, I get a bit like on edge. So set new kind of standards for yourself, set new goals, whether it be in the gym, setting PBs, whether it be doing competitions, doing photo shoots, doing a high rocks, doing a tough mudder, anything. It doesn't have to be, physique related. I know obviously we're all within that field, but it can be bigger things. And something I found recently as well, like them deep conversations that you'd have in the kitchen or living room at fucking 3 in the morning, they get replaced. I go for a coffee with two of my local mates who are online coaches as well every Friday. Them deep conversations that were in the kitchen at 3 in the morning now happen in a coffee shop at 11 in the morning. Completely different like mindset. And they can still happen. I think a lot of people wait for drugs and alcohol to open up. It's when they can talk to the mates a
Be
bit.
themselves, yeah. Be themselves when you can be yourself anywhere. Can I interject? Sorry. So Kieran just said, right, that he gets deep fulfillment from listening to podcasts, going for walks, moving his body, getting blood flow. And do you know what it is? I do the exact same thing. But what I also do, I won't mind sharing with you right now because this has honestly changed my life, and I do this every single day, boys. Yeah. So what I do, excuse me, is I wake up every morning, I sit down in this conservatory, right, and I've got this notepad here, and I write out every single morning, what would I love to do today? And I also then clarify what I'd love to do in my life every single day. I do it every single day. I sit there and I write them two things down. And what that does is you are now, so for you, for example, what I'd love to do today, well, I'd love to train, I'd love to get my meals in, and I'd love to look sick at that photo shoot. That could be the main objective for you right now, which it probably is. But if you keep re-clarifying that one specific thing that you love or then things that you love to do, you're going to get to your weekend right, and it's going to absolutely seem pointless for you to go and ruin it or go and destroy it for the sake of a few hours with your pals. So I mean, I couldn't agree more. But that morning routine, excuse me, the day starts in the morning. Obviously, you win the morning, you win the day. That's what I'm trying to say. You get that morning routine nailed, boys, and you carry it on Saturday and Sunday. You are going to be in the top 1 or 10% of men on the planet just by sorting your shit out in the morning. Excuse me.
100%. And it's about embracing where you get the natural dopamine from and enjoying those little things day to day. Like I love ticking boxes, getting ahead of the game. So every single day I'm embracing that. And when you're not getting smashed, not getting on it and stuff, you're actually ticking those boxes day in, day out. And that gets you mentally fired up because you've done your steps, you've done your cardio, you've done your work, you might have cleaned up, you've done all these things. And then embracing the natural things like having, a coffee, training, getting your music on in your headphones, getting a buzz like that, doing the sauna. Like if you spend 20 minutes in the sauna, when you come out of there, you're going to feel a mental, natural high. Like I love the sauna because it's doing so much benefits for obviously your mindset and your body. But you get that endorphin rush out of it. So it's about replacing it with these natural things that you can do day to day.
100%. I think the morning one is a huge one. Like for me, the fulfillment that I get from it, it's not getting up early. Like I'm still not a morning person. I still wake up and think, fuck, an extra half an hour would be great here. But after I've got up, after I've done that hard thing, after I've had that cold shower, after all my work's done before midday, like that feeling, that rest of the day is for me to build the business, to train. That's my time then. All that work's done in the morning. That's the fulfillment. That's like the fuck yeah, this is exciting. So I want everyone to know, people always say this on podcasts and webinars and stuff like this before, but pause this video right now. And I want you to write down, like Kyle's already said, writing down's good. I should do it more, but I definitely advise people to do it. But write down three things now that is going to give you a high naturally. It doesn't have to be drugs.
What do you love? What do you love, lads? What the fuck do you love to do with yourself? What is it what are you naturally drawn to? Like Kieran says, what gives you that high? It could be the simple things in life. It doesn't have to be all fucking crazy. What do what do you feel in your heart and soul? That's sorry, bro, I didn't mean to interject then.
No, go ahead, mate. This is what this call's all about. If it's running, write running down. If it's
Yeah.
climbing a mountain, right? Climbing a mountain down. If it's going to the gym, smashing bench press, write that down. But pause this video and actually write three things down now. And if you ever feel a bit lost again, go back to them three things and find a bit more purpose. I think is the key word. Support over willpower. You don't have to do it alone. And I think Alistair and Kyle are both absolutely fantastic coaches. And I'll say this time and time again. If you're watching this now, one of these two guys might be the coach for you. It might not be me. A coach will always provide you with the framework, the tools, the resources, etc. But one of these two guys here might be a better suit for you than they are for me. So follow them on Instagram. I'll put their handles at the end of this webinar. But building a community as well. You don't have to do these things alone. I think the biggest thing for coaching in my eyes is building that community of people, knowing that other people are on a very similar journey to you. And when you do have these friendship groups that are maybe kind of pulling you more towards that negative life, there's people on the other side that are just leveling up, doing better, getting physically better, financially better, whatever it might be. So you don't have to do this shit alone. I think that's one thing that a lot of people worry about when they start signing up for maybe coaching or anything like that. They think, oh, fuck, well, this is just going to be me now for the next few years. It's coaching's kind of moving a lot more towards that community feel, isn't it, guys?
Couldn't agree more. Could not agree more. Yeah, appreciate the kind words, mate. I don't want to get too spiritual or faithful or all that, but I've been sober for I stopped drinking alcohol and doing all that sort of stuff since 2023, right at the back end. And the reason that happened was because of a really bad hangover. I went out for the Christmas staff night party at my gym. And I mixed the drinks and I woke up and I said, you know what it is, I cannot deal with this ever again. And since December of 2023, I haven't drunk alcohol. And since that time, right, my mind's been extremely clear. I've been writing down, been journaling every single day. And I think the most powerful thing is you are never alone. Even though you are alone inside your own thoughts mind, you were never alone. There's always support around, even in a world of technology that everyone's got a fucking more perfect, better life and everyone's got a better physique. The truth of the matter is everyone's figuring out and they are learning day by day. But what I will say that's genuinely helped me, right, is I don't like saying God. I don't really like saying religion. I'm not really about that. But what I will say is I genuinely believe this from my hand on heart. You are connected to a higher power, a universe that's constantly working and trying to give you signs and messages. All right. And whether you want to look for it or not, I genuinely believe that. And, sitting there and just to evaluate myself, you will never feel alone when you look internally as well. So I don't want to go too deep with that, but it's genuinely true. Like you are not alone at all. There's always people to reach out to. Kieran's always there with WhatsApp. He'll always get back to you. And even like your close friends and family, never forget them as well. So it's very easy as a man. It can be quite an isolated journey. There's a lot of pressure, but at the end of the day, you're not alone. You don't have to be alone. It's completely down to you and your choice. So that's what I will say on that.
Definitely. I think this is quite a powerful one as well. The more support you have, the less FOMO controls you. And I think, like you say, if surround yourself with the right people, the other people are going to be getting the FOMO. It's not going to be you because they're going to see you progressing in life. They're going to think, fuck, what am I still doing here? Sat in this same boozer every single week. So
Can
yeah,
I ask you a question? Sorry, I didn't mean.
good.
But you and Alistair, Kieran and Alistair, what were the hardest bit or something you've noticed stepping away from that circle group to focus on your mission? Like what's some things you've noticed in your life that have changed?
Everything, mate. Literally everything. I think bodybuilding prep in itself, yes, it can be an isolating part of it because not everyone's into bodybuilding. Not even my girlfriend can relate to certain things that I talk about when it comes to even coaching in the gym. But I'd say, in terms of discipline, I'm in the best shape that I've ever been in my life. My coaching business is the best it's ever been. Yeah, there's a multitude of things that have been advantageous to me over these past 6 months, even more so than the previous 6 months. Like every year, I'm continually looking to level up, and I think that's what it is. It becomes an addiction, and like you said there before, Alistair, sorry, if you do have like an addictive personality, channel that into things like this. Like I'm always looking to grow the business. I'm always looking to build on my physique. I'm always looking to do better in every aspect of life. And I think if you can channel that into that, it's a scary and dangerous recipe. You can go very far in life.
It is a game changer, and that's the thing. Like, you're gonna be the most committed to whatever you do. And I think before, like when I used to go out, I used to hit it hard. But then when I started switching things around, it was a wake up call to a lot of people around me. Like people were like, shit, like Bear, Alistair's sorting himself out now. I actually need to do that. This guy that I once thought was just, partying all the time is actually leveling up day on day on day. And then it gives other people around you a wake up call. And then you start having that positive influence on the people around you.
100%. So how long have you been now? 2 years sober, Kyle?
I'm approaching close to 2 years. So obviously in December it'll come up to 2 years of no alcohol, no drugs, none of that. And I wasn't doing drugs really, to be honest with you.
And have you
I
found life's changed since then, just like in terms of your mindset and your
Oh, do you know what it is? I genuinely thought that alcohol was my friend. I genuinely thought that without alcohol, I wasn't a complete man. I didn't think I could communicate correctly. I didn't feel like I could be myself. I didn't think I could go into a setting like a bar, a club, or a beach or whatever without actually intoxicating myself. And I came to a realization, came to a full circle of like the most confident, most powerful Kyle that's ever been for me. And obviously catching up to that, when I was playing rugby, I was absolutely relentless with training, and I had one goal in mind, which were to be a Bradford Bulls rugby league player, professional, and I got to the scholarship, right? And then some things happened with my father, and basically between that time and let's say before I started coaching, I really, really lost myself. I can't tell you how lost I was. I was extremely lost in life, and then I latched on to alcohol because it kind of gave me that confidence back, and it gave me kind of a purpose and to be social and stuff. And I was using it for a lot of the wrong reasons, really. And then obviously 2 years ago, I stopped doing it completely. And it's just given me, I've got more connected to me, like on a deeper level. And I genuinely believe even if you just go do it for a month or maybe 2 months and then just really deeply appreciate that Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday of being productive, being yourself, not having any of that deep fear or deep regrets, that to me is very addictive. And when I know like I get power from it now because when I know everyone else has gone out and they're probably feeling a bit rough on Sunday, I'm up early, still writing down what I love, still working towards that goal.
the smug,
Um,
isn't it? When someone's hungover and they're hungover.
oh, you feed off the power, like I just feed off it, but not in a way that's like degrading or it just
Yeah,
feels good. It's like I fucking listen to myself again. Yes, it's like another. Come on. So yeah, that's definitely a thing that's changed. I've got more spiritually connected with my soul, my purpose, if that makes sense.
100%, man.
And Kieran were a massive part of that. So yeah.
100%. You just feel powerful, don't you? Strong.
Yeah. We've been there myself. Like, when you drink on a Friday or a Saturday back in the day, you wake up Monday morning, you're like, not never again, not doing it again, and
Mm.
do it again. You think, fuck, I've just let myself slip again. But then you go 2 weeks, you think, yeah, I feel better. You go a month, I feel better. I've never felt this kind of switched on and productive in my entire life these past 6 months because I've not drank. And
And
like I say, I'm not
it,
not saying alcohol is the enemy at all. Like you can definitely have it within moderation, but don't use it as an escapism. Use it as like for me personally, and sure both of you guys can relate. Like my brain is active all the time in regards to work. Always replying
Mm.
to clients, always thinking about the next Instagram post, always doing this, that, and the other. So drinking for me sometimes when I do it is nice just to sit down with the missus and switch off, and it does relax me and calm me, but not to the extent where you have to get absolutely rat-arsed, make silly mistakes, make, regretful decisions and just end up spiraling out of control. Because I think the biggest thing we've taken away from this is you're not in control. And to be in control, sometimes requires being, in a position where you're not going out every single weekend. And I think that's the biggest takeaway from this, and I think just a few practical things that give you guys before we just kind of say that alcohol is the enemy and you shouldn't go out. And we're definitely not saying that, but it's to plan things accordingly. Set a timeline on a certain milestone that you've got a photo shoot, for example. Say to yourself, I'm not going to drink until this is done. Because I think a lot of people don't have any set clear goals, and I think the goals are what keeps people locked in. Like these shows for me over the next few months is what's kept me locked in, knowing that there is a certain end date, so to speak. So I think, set goals, set timelines as well, reverse engineer it back and choose goals that are obviously aligned to your current circumstances and environment. Don't set like things that are going to just be like stupid, like I'm going to get on stage for Mr. Olympia next year. Like set realistic goals as well. And also understand that it's okay to say no. If they're really your friends, they'll understand that you've got big aspirations and goals than just going out every single weekend.
And making it in the right environment as well. Like going out and having a few drinks with some loved ones, family, partner, friends is absolutely fine. But just going down to the same boozer that everyone's been at and it's full of the wrong crowd, it's just not the way to be spending your time. So if you're going to do it, pick the right environment.
100%. Don't get stuck in the rat race. And we're going to slowly wrap this up now. We've got 3 minutes left. You're not missing out, you're moving up. So just try and let go of things that are holding you back, and you know that they're holding you back as well deep down, because essentially your physique journey is the catalyst for everything. I think we've all started loving the gym, didn't we, years ago? We built on our physiques, and that has been the catalyst for every other opportunity that's come our way over the past few years, whether it be business, relationships, friendships. Like obviously, we wouldn't even know each other if we weren't interested in developing our physiques. And now we're on a call today, telling other people how to kind of live their lives. Like, what gives us the right to do that? Obviously, the journeys that we've been on. Anything else you want to wrap up, guys?
100%. I just couldn't agree more with that. Like it all starts from the physique, but then it just spirals into every other area of your life. And honestly, like from where I was when I first started this journey with yourself, Kieran, and with Kyle, to where I am now is just crazy. And like it all stemmed from staying true to my mission, purpose, and actually separating myself from everything we've just spoke about.
I couldn't agree more. Listen, I'll leave you all with this if you're still here watching. Define what you love. Define what you'd love to do with yourself in your life. All right. Set out the 7 high priority steps to get what you love, and fucking be relentless in getting it. All right. The physique that you're aiming for now is the pivotal point how you're going to transform and change your life. But you have to stick to it. You cannot walk 2 paths and expect the one fucking outcome. You've got to stick to what you know your soul's calling you to do. Kieran's there to help you. Listen to him, and you will get what you want. And it's not the fact of the body. The body is just a catalyst of your goals, your aspirations, and your dreams, and that will be the vehicle that's going to take you to the next level. It's a sign that you're taking yourself very seriously, and it's an outward projection that you have self-respect. So do the fucking work.
100%, mate. Look in that mirror, throw up that front double bicep, remind yourself.
Self-respect. Self-respect is key. People that shit. When they see you respecting yourself, they respect you. Like attracts like, boys. Yeah. Stop being a little fucking bitch and get to it. Come on. Testosterone on the soul.
It's been
Oh, I feel
a
it.
pleasure. Thank you very much for joining me on today.
Yes.
If you want
Thank
to
you.
drop your Instagram handles so anyone that's watching this can give you a follow.
AJM.coaching.
Just type in Kyle Mangan, Kyle Mangan, and you'll find me.
Like
If
I said,
if you're easily offended, don't go on it.
very reputable coach. And if either of these are the coach for you, then get in touch. They are, like I say, I've taught them everything that I know, and they are 2 fantastic guys as well. So I just want to say a huge well done, mate, and thank you for joining me on the call today.
Yes.
Gracias, amigo. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All the love.
Yeah, man. Nice.
Have a good one.
That was class, that, boys.